Right now, Norway can look impossibly big for such a small country. Holland turns the national team into a global headline. The fjords look unreal, the cities look clean, and the country sits on one of the biggest pools of public wealth on Earth. So it is tempting to tell the story in the simplest possible way. Norway found oil, and then Norway got rich. But that version skips the strangest part. A lot of countries found oil. Many of them did not become Norway. The real question is not just how Norway found wealth, it is why Norway did not let that wealth destroy the country. To understand that, we have to start long before the oil platforms. Norway was not naturally designed to be an easy farming country. Much of the land is mountainous, cold, narrow, or difficult to cultivate. Even today, only a small share of Norway's land is arable. But Norway had something else, an absurdly long coastline. The fjords were not just scenery, they were roads made of water. Scattered communities could be isolated by mountains but connected by boats. That geography helped create a culture that looked outward. The Vikings were not only warriors with helmets and dramatic branding, they were sailors, traders, settlers, shipbuilders, and navigators. For a place where land was hard, the sea became opportunity. That does not mean Viking Norway was secretly rich and modern. It means the country learned early that survival often came from movement, ships, and resources. Over time, Norway formed a kingdom, but its independence did not stay simple. For centuries, Norway was pulled into unions and dominated by stronger neighbors. Denmark ruled Norway for a long era, and later Norway entered a union with Sweden. In the popular imagination, Norway had Vikings. In reality, many Norwegians had rocky farms, fishing boats, and very limited options. The country was often poor, rural, and scattered. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, hundreds of thousands of Norwegians left for North America. That is not what people do when a country already feels like a jackpot. They leave when the future looks bigger somewhere else. But the poor Norway story matters for another reason. It meant that when wealth finally arrived, the country remembered what scarcity felt like. Before oil, Norway had already begun building some of the habits that would later matter. Its geography encouraged local cooperation. Its rivers and waterfalls became sources of hydroelectric power. Its forests, fish, ships, and electricity tied natural resources to public decisions. This was not a perfect fairy tale society, but Norway developed a political culture where resources were not treated only as private treasure. Then came the moment that changed the scale of everything. In 1969, oil was discovered at Ekofisk in the Norwegian sector of the North Sea. Suddenly, the cold water that had once carried wooden ships was hiding a different kind of fortune. This is where the story could have gone wrong. Oil can make a country rich on paper and weaker in practice. Prices rise, politicians overspend, corruption grows, other industries shrink, and everyone starts fighting over the easy money. Economists often call this the resource curse. Norway looked at the oil and basically asked, how do we not become that story? The answer was not one magic law, it was a system of restraint. Norway insisted on national control over petroleum policy. Foreign oil companies could bring technology and experience, but they would not simply own Norway's future. The state built knowledge, taxed the industry, and kept a strong hand in the sector. In 1972, the government created Statoil, now Equinor, to manage national interests in oil and gas. That decision mattered because it turned oil from a quick sale into a national project. The oil belonged under the sea, but the strategy belonged in parliament rooms, ministries, and public debate. And then, Norway made the most important choice of all. It did not treat oil money like a giant shopping coupon. In 1990, Norway established what became the Government Pension Fund Global, often called the Oil Fund. The idea was simple and almost painfully responsible. Save the oil wealth, invest it around the world, and use it so future Norwegians benefit too. The fund also helped protect Norway from the chaos of oil prices. If the price of oil jumped, the country did not have to spend like it would jump forever. If the price fell, the country was not instantly forced into panic. Over time, the fund became the largest sovereign wealth fund in the world. It owns tiny pieces of thousands of companies across global markets. But the most important part is what Norwegians cannot do with it. They cannot just empty it because today feels exciting. Rules limit how much oil wealth can be used in the budget over time. That is the opposite of the normal political temptation. Most governments like money they can spend now. Norway made the future a stakeholder. This does not mean Norway is a magical utopia. Life there can be expensive, taxes are high, and oil wealth creates real climate contradictions. Norway exports fossil fuels while using a lot of clean domestic electricity, especially hydropower. That tension is part of the story, not a detail to hide. But if the question is how a small country went from Vikings in poverty to oil billions, the answer is not just oil. It is geography that pushed people to the sea. It is a history of scarcity that made sudden wealth feel dangerous. It is institutions strong enough to say no to easy money. And it is a national decision to turn a temporary resource into long-term public wealth. Norway got lucky when it found oil, but luck is not the same thing as wisdom. Oil made Norway lucky. Rules made Norway rich.